process of electing the U.S. president is a unique and complex system that has been in place since the founding of the country. Unlike many other nations, where the head of state is elected directly by the popular vote of the citizens, the United States uses a system known as the Electoral College to determine its leader. Every 4 years, on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, millions of Americans head to the polls to cast their votes in the presidential election. This day is often referred to as Election Day, a culmination of months, sometimes years, of campaigning by the candidates. When voters go to the polls, many believe they are directly voting for their preferred presidential candidate. However, in reality, they are voting for a group of representatives known as electors. These electors are part of the Electoral College, the body that actually elects the president. The number of electors each state has in the Electoral College is determined by its representation in Congress. Each state has 2 senators, regardless of population, and a number of representatives, which is based on the state's population as determined by the most recent census. Therefore, states with larger populations, like California or Texas, have more electors, while smaller states like Wyoming or Vermont have fewer. In total, there are 538 electors in the Electoral College. This number is derived from the 435 representatives, 100 senators, and 3 electors given to the District of Columbia, as permitted by the 23rd Amendment. To win the presidency, a candidate must secure a majority of the electoral votes, which is at least 270 out of the 538 available. Most states use a winner-takes-all approach to allocate their electoral votes. This means that the candidate who receives the most popular votes in a state wins all of that state's electoral votes. For example, if a candidate wins 51% of the vote in a state with 20 electors, they receive all 20 electoral votes. The exceptions to this are Maine and Nebraska, which use a proportional system to allocate their electoral votes. Once the popular vote is counted, and the electors are determined, these electors meet in their respective state capitals in December to cast their official votes for president and vice president. These votes are then sent to Congress, where they are officially counted in early January in a joint session of Congress. If a candidate receives the majority of electoral votes, they are declared the president-elect and will be inaugurated on January 20th, marking the official start of their 4-year term. But what happens if no candidate receives the required 270 electoral votes? In such a scenario, the decision moves to the House of Representatives, which will choose the president from among the top 3 candidates who received the most electoral votes. Each state delegation in the House casts 1 vote, and a majority of states is needed to elect the president. Meanwhile, the Senate selects the vice president from the top 2 candidates, with each senator casting 1 vote. The Electoral College system was designed by the Founding Fathers as a compromise between electing the president by a vote in Congress and electing the president by a popular vote of qualified citizens. The intent was to balance the power between larger and smaller states and to prevent a candidate from simply focusing on populous urban centers to win an election. However, the Electoral College has been the subject of much debate and controversy over the years. Critics argue that it can result in a president being elected without winning the national popular vote, as seen in recent elections. Supporters, on the other hand, contend that it protects the interests of smaller states and ensures a broader, more diverse coalition of voters. Despite these debates, the Electoral College remains the method by which U.S. presidents have been elected for over 2 centuries, shaping the nation's political landscape in profound ways. And that's how the complex process of electing the U.S. president works, from the popular vote to the final decision made by the Electoral College. If you found this exploration insightful, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button.